Okay, well, good afternoon, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is Sunday, August 25th, 2024, 2:22 p.m., 2:22 p.m., and I am watching in the background on NFL Network the last of the 2024-2025 preseason games. You have the Tennessee Titans leading the New Orleans Saints 7-0 with 5:18 remaining in the first quarter over in New Orleans. And that is it until we go live a week from Thursday. So fantasy drafts are in the air. Final cuts are starting to be made, and rosters are getting pushed down, and it's let's go. It's go time. So of course you're watching the Takeoff. My name is Alex. This is something that we do here. It's at least once a week during the season, twice a week, probably sometimes more than that if there's any type of breaking news or updates. So please subscribe to us at YouTube. You can find us. It's called The Takeoff. Our channel is The Jets Takeoff. You can email us at thejets.takeoff@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at The Jets Takeoff. You can find us on Twitter at The Jets Takeoff. And we are currently working on a TikTok channel. So speaking of preseason, last night the Jets and the Giants ended their preseason by facing each other. Back in the day, it was the Snoopy Bowl in MetLife. Now it's, just their annual rivalry this year. It, alternates. The Jets were the home team. I have to say it was a 50-50 crowd. It was a good crowd. It was not a crazy crowd. And usually you don't get crazy crowds at preseason. But this was more Giant fans looking at their number twos as Tommy DeVito, their second string quarterback, Tommy Cutlets as they call him here, was the starter for, I think, about the whole entire game, where the Jets' third-string quarterback and offense played and defense. And I will say this, I think they sacked DeVito 8 times last night. At one point, he was sacked 3 times in a row on one drive. The Jet defensive line outplayed the Giant offensive line. I don't know if it was the Giant 2s, but it was a lot of the Jet 3s, maybe some 4s. For the first half, the Jets had quarterback Martinez, number 15, playing. He showed he could move around the pocket a little bit. He could rush. He did take a sack early on in the game. He made some plays, but this was all defense yesterday. There was really not a lot of airing it out. The Jets had a 10-0 lead. They wound up winning 10-6. The Jets did miss a field goal, make it 13-6, what have you. It went off the left upright. But all in all, I have to say, I couldn't tell if it was more the inefficient Giant offense or if it was an overpowering Jet defense. But the Jets out-muscled the Giants yesterday. And it started on the first play, the kick. And for those of you who know now or don't know, there's a new kick rule. It's really a lot of details to go into, but the most basic part of it is the kicker kicks the ball off. The players on the receiving team and on the kicking team cannot move until the ball is either caught or it hits the ground, and then the play actually begins. Back in the day when the ball was caught, the clock would start. Same thing here, but now you cannot leave your spot until that happens. There's also something about onside kicks, and you have to, declare that you're going to do an onside kick. I don't know how that's going to work, but basically, so the Giants win the toss. I'm sorry, the Jets win the toss. They defer, and the Giants are going to get the ball. So they're kicking from our end zone to the far end zone. Jets kick off, and Giant kickoff returner takes the ball, and he gets past the 10, gets past the 20. Now he's in the open field. And now you can see he has maybe 1 or 2 men to go through, and it's almost, I don't want to say a wedge, because a wedge is illegal, but he's coming up between them. So I just hit the microphone. And he just gets tackled really hard. And you can see him bobble the ball, and as he hits the ground, the ball comes out. Jets recover first play. And it winds up that the Jets wind up putting 3 on the board. They go up 3-0. And from that point on, it was a Jets defensive stand almost every drive. Again, this is preseason. Both the Jets and Giants went for it on 4th and short. Both of them fell short on those plays. The Jets sacked the quarterback. I think it was DeVito all 8 times. On one drive, they sacked him 3 times in a row. Where I turned to my daughters and said, "If I'm the Giants, I'm sitting Tommy. You know, if he's your second string, he shouldn't be out there. He started enough games last year that you don't need to see a lot of what he needs now. You know, you want him to go into the regular season healthy behind Daniel Jones." But it was a Jet dominating defense that really set the tone last night. The game ended up 10-6. I mean, it really, they didn't go into their bag of tricks. The Jets did go vertical a few times. The biggest play was Izzy, who on the way yesterday, I'm listening to the game. I'm actually stuck. I'm not listening to the game. I'm sorry. I'm listening to the radio, and they were talking with Rich Cimini, and he's talking about training camp and whatnot. He was interviewed the last day of training camp, and he said Izzy, I don't know his last name, starts with an A. He comes from Brooklyn kid. Last year he made the team. He wound up getting hurt in the first game, but he played a few games during the year. Was on the bubble. He was like a 4th or a 5th running back behind Breece Hall. And is this kid going to make the team? Is he going to be let go? And last night, I think, and my daughter said the same thing, he solidified at least a spot early on in the season. I think he had 8 or 9 carries for 89 yards. His long was 43 yards. He was breaking tackles. He was finding the hole. I mean, the Jet offensive line played well also. But he played one down where basically he was stopped. He got past the line of scrimmage. He was wrapped up, kept his legs going, and all of a sudden he broke free. Like, you're looking at the play coming at us, and you see he's wrapped up. You're like, all right, he got a few yards. I think he picked up the first down. And next thing you know, he's running towards the end zone. My daughters said to me, I think he made the team. And I was like, yeah, the Giant defender might have lost a spot on the team. But we left mid-third quarter. That's when, like, the 4th stringers were in there. We did see the Jets miss a field goal off the left upright. It bounced out. It actually caught the outside. Even didn't have a chance to come inside. But they won 10-6. The Jets end up 3-0 in the preseason, which, listen, a win is a win. I know it's a preseason. This does not mean anything come November. But they wound up winning 2 games at home, 3 in a row. Altogether, they beat the Commanders week 1 on August 10th, 20-17. They beat the Panthers in Carolina 15-12. And they beat the Giants last night 10-6. I don't think any of the Jet starters, just the guys who have the big contracts and are trying to solidify, not a spot, but going into the season healthy, did not play a snap. Of course, Aaron Rodgers did not play a snap. Coach Saleh had made that announcement very early on prior to the first preseason game. I didn't expect him to play any snaps. I'm fine with him not doing that. Listen, you're always trying to get to game 1 of the season healthy. Now, I know last year we got into game 1, healthy at quarterback position, but we weren't healthy on the offensive line, and that's why our quarterback, for the most part, did not last all but 30 seconds or so. But listen, that should be ancient history. The chemistry, the goal, I think, has always been there right now, the last 2 seasons. And you can say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, and I am not a tremendous fan of him off the field, but I think he brings a winning attitude to this team, something they haven't had in a long time, probably since Brett Favre was here, but Brett Favre did not want to be here. So you have Aaron Rodgers who wants to be here, who's taking the reins of this team. Yes, he will probably run the offense with Hackett, but I'm fine with that. He is. That's why he was brought here. He will run this offense the way he wants to have it run. He'll instill that in the practices. He'll instill that in the training. He'll instill that in the game plans, and that's what will happen. And the reports coming out of camp is that, first of all, Robert Saleh didn't do a cream puff of a camp, so to speak. It was a rough camp. It was a hard camp. The mobility of Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh spoke about, and he's like, it's just incredible how mobile he is. The way that the team is playing, the Rodgers to Garrett Wilson connection right now is really really working. And wow, and I'm watching this game here, and the Titans are doing reverses and whatnot, so they're really opening up the playbook. Very different from what the Jets did, but again, the Jets did not have their starters on there, on the team, and good, for the Saints if they're doing this. They have to do something, to get ready for the season. But even the Jets and Giants played a split squad camp the other day, and the Jet offense dominated the Giant defense. Now, they didn't really go into how much the Jet defense dominated the Giant offense, but they said that the Jet offense, I believe, 11 on 11s. Aaron Rodgers, I think, had 4 touchdowns. He hit Garrett Wilson. It made Twitter. It made Instagram. It made Facebook. It made ESPN. It made every sport outlet. On 2 plays they showed, one was a bomb right down the left sideline where Wilson has a step, in front of the defender. He puts his arm up, brings it in for a touchdown. It had to be like a 40-yard plus touchdown. And then there's another one where Wilson just basically runs a route, and the DB has his feet, looks like he's in cement. He just can't move, and Wilson just gets around him. Actually loses his footing, slides, catches the pass, and gets up. The chemistry is there on offense. It just has to be sustained. Aaron Rodgers must remain upright. The other thing Rich Cimini said was it's going to probably be the Breece Hall, show the first game or so, just to keep Aaron Rodgers, clean and not having to be under pressure, making a lot of passes. Now, of course, that could change. If the Jets find themselves down early, and need to climb out, it may be, it may have to open up. It may have to, be the Aaron Rodgers show. But I think Breece Hall and the running backs will get a lot of carries. That offensive line will have to dominate, especially in San Fran. That's the first game. I won't go into my predictions and my breakdown of the game before next week, but that's what's going to be early. That's what Rich Cimini said. I'm trying to think what else has been going on that's affecting this team where you should be concerned or whatnot. And of course, that's Haason Reddick. So he is the defensive lineman who wanted a new contract with the Eagles. He wasn't going to get it. He asked for a trade. The Jets made the trade for him to anchor their defensive line, to improve them. On a defensive line that's really good, I mean, you just made them a step better, 2 steps better. There's 2 stories. There's always 3 stories. Their side, our, the other side, and the truth. But there's 2 stories coming out, really, where, the Jets thought they had a handshake agreement that if they signed Reddick this year, there wouldn't be any type of holdouts, and possibly give him an incentive-laced contract for this year, and then, maybe give him a long-term contract. Reddick's camp, he has not reported. He is fined, I want to say $50,000 or whatever it is, $100,000 for every day he misses. He's up to $1.5 million in fines to the team. The rhetoric is, listen, this is the Jets. This is what's going to happen. I don't believe that. Joe Douglas is smarter than that. I think they had some sort of agreement, and then Haason just doesn't want to play the preseason or go through camp. He has, and Rich Cimini actually confirmed this, he has a no guarantee contract this year. So if he gets hurt at any time, any games that he misses, he's not paid for. Okay, it's not a guaranteed contract, not a no guarantee contract. So I could see him missing or holding out through camp, not playing in the preseason. But now preseason's over. They should start preparing for San Fran by next week. They open up a week. I'm sorry, 2 weeks from tomorrow. So probably late next week they're going to start. I think he shows up before Labor Day. Next weekend he'll take his physical again, whatever he has to do. Because if he does not show up and he starts missing games, I think Samini said it's $800,000 game check that he's forfeiting. So he's already in the hole over $1 million. I don't see him risking it until now. He has to play. Now the only thing that I could see being an issue is, and again, Samini said this, and you have to wonder, you have to think about this. He's an athlete. He's gonna lift. He's gonna train with his team, with his camp on his own pace. So he's keeping in shape, I would have to think, especially if he's looking for a contract. So even if he wants a trade from the Jets, which he asked for, and Joe Douglas said, absolutely not, absolutely not. We expect you to play, and that's what's going on. That's what we're gonna do. Can he have a soft tissue injury early on in the season because he's not conditioned? It could happen. He hasn't played game speed since last year. I mean, it could happen to the best of us. I go back to, 2010, again, Hard Knocks, the whole saga with Revis holding out. He basically held out all of camp, all of the preseason games, and signed. Ironically, again, it was a Monday night game. It was against the Ravens. I think he signed like a week prior to the Monday night game. I think it was like overnight Saturday or Sunday, and they were playing the following Monday, I think. Might have been even closer to the Monday night game. And the first game, he was fine. The second game, he covered Randy Moss, and he pulled a hamstring on Randy Moss catching and I still remember this. It was the second home game at MetLife, week 2. The Jets beat the Patriots, but Randy Moss wound up catching a one-handed grab in the end zone, and Revis came up, gimpy, holding his hamstring. Could that happen? That could definitely happen. That's something you have to, expect. Expect the worst and hope for the best. But if he gets on this line, this defensive line will be, they call this Jet defense a top 5. It could be a really, really, really good Jet defense. Maybe a top 3. And that'll take a lot of pressure off Sauce and that secondary. So, the Jets have not really had that defensive line like the Sack Exchange since probably the Sack Exchange. I know, back in the Parcells days, we had a good defense, and the Herm Edwards days, we had a pretty good defense and whatnot. But we didn't have those big defenses again until Rex came, and that defense was built around Rex's blitz packages. I mean, I think he had like 40 blitz packages. We never had a true sack defense since the Sack Exchange, if you want to call it that. I think we have it this year. You have the Williams brothers. You have Reddick if he signs. You have your anchor with C.J. Mosley. So this could be a really good Jet defense. They will have their work cut out for them, but I could see this really being very good Jet defense, borderline great. And that's what they're going to need. They're going to need to control the ball, make Aaron Rodgers make some plays, let them worry about Aaron Rodgers making plays and run the ball. And then when they worry about running the ball, now you have Aaron Rodgers take advantage of that. The weakest link on this team is, and I've said this, is Robert Saleh and the coaches. The Jet defensive coach is probably the best part of this team. Special teams has played very well the last few years, but Saleh's decision making and Hackett is what scares me. Now, they said last year the reason why the Jet offense was not what it should have been, obviously Aaron Rodgers, the Jet offense was drawn up around Aaron Rodgers, and the packages were made up for Aaron Rodgers. Secondly, you had what's his name, Wilson. Josh Wilson. I'm sorry, Garrett. Oh, I got all these names on my head. Zach Wilson is not Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson actually was traded to Denver. Okay, so Joe Douglas actually got some commodity for Zach Wilson. He went to Denver and he actually lost the starting job in Denver to their quarterback drafted this year. So, is it that they don't trust Zach Wilson in Denver, or is it that Wilson was outplayed by the rookie? I mean, we shall see. Joe Douglas will be graded on in his career by the two quarterbacks that he will be known for: Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And obviously, it's using the number 2 pick to bring in Zach Wilson, and then obviously it's going after the 39-plus-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So that is really the wrap up right now on the preseason. I believe this cut-down days start this week. Again, I believe preparation for San Fran will probably start. I know they always give them like a week, so I don't know what they're going to be doing this week, if it's just going to be cut-down days and regular camp, and then game planning will start next week. But this will be, we're going to go 10 days without football after the Saints-Titans game ends, which there's 12-12 remaining in the first half. Titans are up 10-0. And then you got 10 days, and then you have I believe it's September 6th, is the September 6th or September 5th? I'm sorry, maybe the 5th. September 5th, when you have the Thursday night game. I believe that's the Kansas City game the Super Bowl champs always play. And then they actually have a Friday night game also, I believe, this year. Then you have your Saturday, your Sunday nights. I believe the Giants are a Sunday night game, and then the Monday night game, which would be, solidifying, or capping off week 1, and that will be Jets at San Fran. And I will say this, okay, I'm not going to talk about the game itself. I'm not giving my predictions. But I actually like that they're starting on the road week 1. Maybe I would like them home week 2, but week 1 and week 2 on the road, you know what this team is doing or can be when they come home for their home opener. Now, I have said this story hundreds of times since last year. Last year, and the date sticks out. It was September 11th. It was a Monday night game. And it was, all eyes were on MetLife Stadium. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the media frenzy and everything was just, it was a frenzy, exactly what it was. But to be there, first of all, I had goosebumps. But to see the emotional letdown and then the win and whatnot, but you knew that, you won the battle, but we're going to lose the war, was very emotional. It was very frustrating. I almost, I didn't enjoy the Super Bowl at all. I wanted nothing to do really with football as the season went on. I kept saying you have to have, relevant games in, by Halloween, and then relevant games by Thanksgiving. And now you're looking for seeding by Christmas. And we just didn't have a team like that. And there was some games we lost that we could have stolen, and there was some games we just got beat up in. But I know I went off topic, went down a rabbit hole a little bit, but to know that they're starting on the road, okay, so it's not getting to the game early for all of you going to the game. It's not, now the anticipation in the parking lot, and I know a lot of people tailgate, or it's not dealing with that. It's not going through all the opening ceremonies and whatnot. You're going to have 2 games under your belt, okay, before we're home for the Thursday night game against the Patriots, the home opener on September 19th. I like that. The one thing I don't like is that we're opening up on a Thursday night at home, and we'll have 3 games in 10 days. I would have liked maybe opening up on a Sunday night, even a Monday night I would have taken. But the Thursday night, I know you're starting a day later with Monday, but then you're going Sunday afternoon, and then you're going Thursday. I'll take, whatever it is, but I like opening up on the road. you know, there will be anticipation all that day. I know, you know, September. I think it was September 9th. I will be in the office. I work till 4 all day thinking about this, getting ready to come home. Just sitting in front of the TV, watching all the pregame, listening to the radio, waiting for kickoff, and then it's on. You know, following week too. You know, but at least that following week you have a game underneath your belt and you have a 1:00 game. So I will take them opening up on the road. I like that as a season ticket holder or people going to the game. It gives you that little buffer. You're not dealing with all the hoopla. And now I know that Thursday night home opener, September 19th, is going to be again. It's going to be a production, you know. But we could go into that game 2-0, 0-2, 1-1. You know, of course you go in with a tie, but that might be highly unlikely. But we will have some sort of vision of what this team can do. And by week 3, who knows where, you know, our running game is, and who knows what our defense is doing, and who knows where Aaron Rodgers is at that point. You know, again, go back to Rich Cimini. He's like, you know, don't look for a 425-yard game in passing for Aaron Rodgers on week 1. But he will eventually work his way up to that. And, you know, week 3 may be that breakout game. You know, you're going against a Bill Belichick less coached Patriots. And you know, it's just it's gonna be a frenzy there too. But I like the 2 weeks away from home. You know, I would have liked to open up at 1:00, you know, on a home opener on a Sunday. But you know, I'll take what they give us. Of course, as in New York, we have a lot of primetime games again. It's just what's going to be while we have Aaron Rodgers and hopefully when we're successful. You know, and that's what we're looking for. So that'll do it for my preseason edition of The Takeoff. Again, please subscribe to us. We are The Takeoff. We're on YouTube. You can find our channel at The Jets Takeoff on YouTube. You could Google it. You could Google my name, Alex Parziali. You can find us on Twitter, The Jets Takeoff. You can find us on Instagram, The Jets Takeoff. And again, like I said, we're doing a TikTok channel very, very soon. And that's it. Have a great week. Have a blessed week, whatever you say. Last week of summer before school starts. Some colleges already began, but this is Labor Day week coming up. A week from tomorrow is Labor Day. It went really fast. It really did. As long as the off season was, we went through the summer. 3 preseason games in the books, and we are set to go live. Jets at San Fran 2 weeks from tomorrow night, and it's on. So again, this is The Takeoff. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.